We are live and on the air. Good evening. I am OmniDog from OmniDog's Vault. This is OmniBros Live, the Wednesday show, and I'm with my co-host from Comics Guide 101, Luis. Luis, how's it going, buddy?
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey to you all. Hit him with the hind.
How's everything, Jess?
Good. I had the best day today in a long time. I was about 98% pain-free in my knees and my foot. It's amazing how much my attitude improves when I'm pain-free.
Are you still have the boot?
No. My foot's still swollen enough that I can't get it into regular shoes without a little discomfort. So I'm in flip-flops a lot. I'm always in flip-flops, but so I can't quite play golf yet, but my knee has really been bothering me, and she taped it up yesterday so that the kneecap wouldn't move, and that's probably going to give her a clue as to what's really going on there, because it didn't hurt at all today. I could go up and down the stairs like a youngster. It was awesome. No pain whatsoever.
You felt like a youngin'.
I did. I felt like back when I was taking the stairs 2 at a time as a wee lad.
Hey man, I'm getting close to 30 and I'm starting to feel a little more. I'm like, that was easier back in the day.
Oh man, wait till you wake up in your 50s and you go, oh yeah, I hurt.
Everything just hurts. That's what
everything just hurts, and you just gotta sort of shake it off as you get out of bed. You get into bed at night and you're like, oh, bed, you're my friend. You never let me down. It's always so nice in here. You treat me right. And then in the morning, you're like, oh, my God, I hate my bed. Oh, I hate everything. Oh, woe is me.
So it's an abusive relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of pain and turmoil there. But Jess, if I were to get some books without having to deal with some pain and turmoil,
right,
and without having to deal with any stress, where could I go?
You could go to the painfreeinstocktrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your favorite comic collections. Loyalty discounts add 2 to 3% onto that.
What?
Yeah, there's quarterly discounts courtesy of us, Omnibroslive. Also, over $50 in the United States gets you free shipping. They have fabulous customer service. And Luis, how do they package their books?
Just what do I always tell you? I always tell you they package your books like a newborn baby being wrapped up in a nice little blanket, all safe and sound and ready for you to open them up and read.
That's right. And tomorrow, Thursday night, since it's the last show of the month, we'll be giving away a $50 gift certificate to In Stock Trades.
What? No. Stop. What? No.
I know. In Stock Trades is the place to go. I'm telling you.
How do I go about winning that $50 certificate?
You will be asked a OmniBros trivia question, and the first 10 to answer it right in the email, not on the chat, in the email, will be entered into a randomizer, which is me going, and they will win. Last time, a guy from, I think either New Zealand or Australia won. And,
yeah, I think the last few times it's been somebody from overseas.
Yeah, actually, the first two, yeah, you're right. The first two went to somebody from overseas, which is great because that means we have overseas viewers, which is awesome.
I know. What are the odds, right?
And John the Uncanny trying to throw me off, asking for the email, and I know the email's right here on the page. What is it? Omnibroslive@gmail.com, I'm pretty sure.
I believe that is correct.
Show more. Welcome to the Omnibroslive@gmail.com, but don't worry, we're not doing it till tomorrow night. So, and the question won't be asked till tomorrow night. And unfortunately, this is not the episode where we talk about The Wire, Matt Miranda.
Not yet.
Not yet. I think we are going to have a live viewing party of that first episode. This is where we're going to talk about our top 5 summer blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got input from the mod chat, from the Omnibus Collectors, Comic Swap, and community. They all have opinions, and I will throw them in at the appropriate time. And I know you have an opinion, and I have an opinion, and I'm sure the chat has opinions.
They always have opinions.
Good. Well, that's what we like on the
Whether they're
Wednesday
right
show.
or not.
Right.
Whether they're right or not.
Whether they're right or not. We like chat opinions on the Wednesday show.
Mm-hmm.
Blockbuster movies, Avatar, summer blockbusters, the big ones.
Yeah.
Tentpole movies, also known as.
Well, this kind of started off because I realized summer's here. Like, kids are getting out of school, movies are starting to show up in theaters like crazy again. So I was like, you know what are some of the best summer blockbusters? And Jess, you picked out a few. I made it even a bit more difficult for myself because I decided I'm going to do it so every one of the films that I pick has to take place during summer.
I missed the first part of that. What now?
Oh, I said that for me, you picked movies that premiered in the summer that were huge and things like that. I kind of made it a bit more challenging for myself. I also wanted to have movies that are based during that time in the summer.
They're summertime themed movies.
Yes.
Oh, interesting twist.
And I think we've shown both of our lists, and we have quite a few overlaps.
Yeah, we do. I had some backups too that should get mentioned. So we can start. Why don't you start with your first choice?
Okay, I mean, the first choice, and obviously the most obvious choice, wow, that was horrible the way I said that, is, hey, where the hell's my list? I took a picture of it. I sent it to you guys. Hold on. Hold on. It's back here somewhere.
Philip Evans says, look, you can say what we can. You said we can talk about whatever the people want. The chat demands The Wire, Jess. I guess
Okay.
I better start watching The Wire because that is a topic every single show on the Wednesday show. It's always The Wire. I mean,
it's always Matt.
Well, but other people talk about it too, and I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the chat by not knowing about it. So I better start watching The Wire.
Well, we did say that one day we were going to do a live stream with Matt and watch like the first episode.
Yeah. I think the 3 people interested in that would be you, me, and Matt.
More than likely.
I can't imagine we'd get any viewers.
Okay, but number one movie on my list, this is the obvious choice that everybody says for all these types of lists, is Jaws. Come on, you can't have a summer movie season without the original summer blockbuster, Jaws. And just you happen to be around during that time when that movie first came out.
Yes, I was. I've been around since all the blockbusters have been out. I went to that first, and that also is my number 1 choice, Jaws. That's where our first overlap happened, but that is considered the birth of the summer blockbuster. Mm-hmm. And I was in Los Angeles at the time with my brother, and let me think how old I was. I was in my teens. And he found me a date, and he and his girlfriend came, and I was in the front seat. I don't know why, but my brother and I were in the front seat, and the girls were in the back seat, and we went to a drive-in. For those of you that don't know what they are, drive-in movie theaters this is where you go in your car and you park, and there's a giant screen, and you got a speaker that attaches to your window, and you watch the movie that way. And I don't know that there are many of those left, but that's quite an experience. But there's a scene in Jaws, gosh, I guess it's maybe the first 20 minutes, where you're underwater, and all of a sudden a guy's just severed head pops up. And that scared the hell out of me so much, I jumped and hit my head on the roof of the car. Bonk. I mean, talk about a scare moment. I was just like, yeah.
and I mean, who can forget that iconic line? It had eyes like it does.
And we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need so many iconic lines from that film. I absolutely love Jaws, and most people don't realize Jaws for its time it could be counted as a horror film. It freaked people out to the point where they didn't want to go to the beach.
They did. I mean, don't go into the water was like a big saying that summer, and people actually would not go in the water. It freaked people out. I mean, they wouldn't go in the water in California, Northern California, where there's no sharks. I mean, the water's too cold for sharks. It's too cold for people too, but people still go in there. But yeah, even in San Diego, where it's nice warm water, people are just not going into the water. That was you're right. It really affected the zeitgeist of a nation. People were scared.
People were not only scared but terrified. It was really a national phenomenon where it was one of those rare things where it suddenly crossed over into just mainstream. This film that Steven Spielberg, who at the time was relatively still new in the game, wasn't he? He wasn't Steven Spielberg yet.
Right. If I recall correctly, his first thing that he made a name for himself for was a really good TV movie called The Duel, with Dennis, what's his name? Dennis Weaver. Have you ever seen The Duel?
No.
It's a TV movie that was really gripping. It's not a. You've probably heard of somebody writing something like this now, but back at the time, The Duel was pretty groundbreaking for a TV movie. This guy Dennis Weaver is just having a normal drive in the mountains when all of a sudden a trucker starts ramming him and going after him, and the rest of the movie is Dennis Weaver trying to escape this trucker from trying to ram him off the road. And it was really gripping. I obviously, as a teenager back then too, I don't know when that was, 72, 73, somewhere in there. But that was Spielberg's big break for TV, and I believe it was that on his resume that led him to get, because Jaws was a big book. It was a big selling book by Peter Benchley, and it was a big deal for somebody to get that director job. And it was, I believe that The Duel was his stepping stone into that position. I think. I believe, if I recall correctly.
I need to go back and look at that then, his catalog, because I mean, it's really and the crazy thing is, Jaws is a PG movie. You wouldn't think it. It's actually PG.
Wow.
I believe Jaws is actually PG.
My brother's car still has a dent in the roof from when I popped up there. Man. I almost made it a convertible.
No, it's PG. Jaws is rated PG. Man attacked by the shark. After selected gruesome frames of the shot showing the severed leg of the man attacked by the shark and the estuary were trimmed down, the film was given a PG rating. The PG-13 rating wasn't created until Spielberg's film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 9 years later. That's why I didn't get PG-13, because there wasn't a rating for it back then. And it was because of Spielberg that we have a PG-13 rating now. That's pretty cool.
Iron Cardinal says I'm correct, so I don't know what I'm correct about, but thank you. I appreciate that. I'm wrong about so many things, but I'm correct about something.
No, it's pretty crazy looking back on it now, and I believe, if I remember, there's a nude scene in the beginning of the film, isn't there, where you could kind of see everything
when she skinny dips into the water.
Right, it's pretty. You could see, because I remember horny little 10-year-old me was like, given my history of liking the female form in comics, for some reason I don't remember that. I thought you just kind of saw a really dark part of her. I didn't know you could really make it out. But okay, I mean, obviously it impacted you. So if she was naked, I seem to recall that it was really dark and you could just tell she was naked. I don't remember that she was naked. It impacted me, very.
I could tell.
Shorty Larson saying they actually filmed that in the day, and they did. They turned it into night in post production.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also directed the first episode of Columbo. Wow, didn't know that.
Oh, Columbo. Great.
All right, Jessica,
Okay.
moving on. What else you got on your list?
I was in, let's see, I believe I was in college when this movie came out. And it impacted me because it was super fun and just, yeah, I was in college when it came out, and I enjoyed it because it had everything. It was funny, incredibly action-packed, lots of great lines in it, and one of the scenes was filmed at my college, University Pacific in Stockton. Shout out to Matt Miranda in Stockton. The professor scene in it when he's teaching his class, and that would be Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, right, such a classic film. Raiders is so good.
Yeah, I mean that was a big deal because George Lucas and Spielberg were involved in it, and they both already, they were both already a big deal at that point. But it was everybody was saying that it harkened back to popcorn movies of the 40s, adventure movies of the 40s. But that movie just was a huge success, and it had the guy from Star Wars in it, who was the guy from American Graffiti in it, Harrison Ford. And I just actually learned something about Harrison Ford. He almost didn't get into Star Wars as Han Solo.
Really?
Because Lucas did not like casting actors that he'd already worked with. And he had already worked with him in American Graffiti, and so he wasn't going to cast him as Han Solo. But somehow he got the part. I didn't read past the fact that he almost didn't get the role.
I mean, that's pretty crazy to hear that. It's been a long time since I've seen Raiders. Is Raiders the one with the giant ball?
Rolling.
Yeah.
There's a great Simpsons episode that parodies that when Bart's stealing the jar of coins from Homer's bureau.
And then Homer rolls down the stairs like it's the ball.
Exactly.
I love that episode.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Oh, I miss classic Simpsons.
I do too.
I mean, just talk about classic. It's one of those films that even today, it's been years since I've seen it. It's probably been like 4 or 5 years, but I still remember it holding up really well because a lot of it is practical. A lot of the effects they use it's there. They don't use CGI in the movie.
Right, and my favorite scene still is in the beginning of the movie when the pilot is out on the boat, the boat plane, and Indiana's running like hell towards him, telling him to, get it started, and he can't decide what to do because he's got a fish on the line. Death is coming towards him, but he hooked a fish, and he's like, "What? But he's got the struggle going on, and I just love that part.
They kind of parodied it in Deadpool 2. I don't know if you caught that with Dopinder with the taxi cab where Deadpool is running and you see all the people behind him.
Oh, I missed that part. Explain.
It's okay, minor spoilers for Deadpool 2. It's after he's coming out of like the building it's at the very beginning of the film where he's like doing the assassinations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he jumps through the window into Dopinder's car.
Yeah.
It's kind of a parody of that scene.
Oh, okay. I'll have to pay more attention when I see it again. I know my daughter wants to see it, so that's cool.
I definitely want to see it again. Is Raiders the one where the guy's swinging his sword around and Indy's just tired of it and he just shoots him? Is that the one where he does that?
Yeah.
And Raiders is the one with the plane fight, right? God, it's been so long.
The plane fight?
Where he's fighting in the desert and the plane is spinning around.
Gosh, I don't know. Is that the first one? I can't remember that scene now. I I don't remember. I don't remember that part. I know there's a whole thing at Disney World in the movie section thing where they recreate that.
Right.
But I don't think that's from the first one. Okay, Shorty Larson saying that's the Connery one, Last Crusade.
That's Last Crusade.
Okay, that's what I thought. Here's a good question that doesn't have to do with summer blockbusters, but I've been thinking about watching this movie. Ragnar asks, has anyone watched The Conjuring?
I love
Did you
The
ever?
Conjuring.
Yeah, is it good? Is it something I'd like? You
Yeah,
know, I like to be scared with occult stuff.
they're good movies. There's The Conjuring 1, 2, and then they have a spinoff called Annabelle. You could skip the spinoff, but watch the first two. They're directed by James Wan, who he goes on to do the Fast and Furious films, and he did a really good movie with Kevin Spacey a few years ago. I believe it was called Death Silence, something like that. And they're good. They're really good horror films.
I want to see it. I read about it earlier this week, and that's it sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, he's the one that's going to be directing Aquaman.
Oh,
Yeah, he's directing. Okay. James Wan is directing Aquaman, and I agree, Matt. I think the second one is a better film for The Conjuring.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's really good. It's really good. You went through the Hellboy marathon, right? Like you read through most of Hellboy?
I still am stuck. I haven't finished BPRD. I need to read 46 through 48 and Plague of Frogs 4.
Do you remember The Crooked Man?
Yes.
With Richard Corbin, I think, doing the art?
Yeah.
The Crooked Man is actually the main bad guy in The Conjuring 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll see those two movies.
They're good. They're really good films. Next one.
Huh? What did we both agree on Raiders, or what's your second choice?
My second choice, I actually didn't even consider the indie movies. My choice, damn it, I had it, is It. And I'm talking about this is a recent one. Andy Muschietti's It, the one that just came out last year. I don't know if you got a chance to see it.
I haven't. I still want to.
Yes, you really need to. It's really fucking good.
I know.
It is one of those movies that I have since I've gotten the Blu-ray 4K. It's one of those films that if I'm working on something or if I'm doing something in the background or kind of like working on writing or something, that I'll have it playing because I love that film. I really, really dug that film. And the fact that it takes place in the summer in the 1980s and it captures what it's like to be so young and to kind of go on adventures with your friends and things like that, and then add to that the supernatural twist, and it just nails the Stephen King vibe. I personally feel, this is just my 2 cents, this is just me, that's going to be one of those films that 20 years from now, when Muschietti keeps going and making films, and as long as he doesn't drop the ball on the second one that comes out hopefully next year, that's going to be a classic. I loved it. I absolutely love that film, and I can't get enough of it. And I can't wait to see what he does with the next version of it, even though the material involving the adults in the book, I believe, is weaker than the stuff involving the kids. So we'll see how he punches it up.
Okay.
You need to see it.
I know. You're right. I totally do because I loved the trailers. The trailers scared the heck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Cardinal, is this movies that take place in the summer or summer movies? It's kind of both. For me, these are summer blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And for Luis, he picked blockbusters that also took place in the summer. So we're mixing it up. And it can be a flop, too. It doesn't have to. It can be a blockbuster that's flopped. It can be a surprise movie that became a blockbuster, like Bridesmaids. That thing became a blockbuster, even though it wasn't really hyped up, but it became a huge movie. So these are just so it's both. He's doing summer blockbusters that took place in the summer, and mine are just summer blockbusters, which leads me to my next choice. And I'm going to have to pick one of them because there were 3 of them. and that is the original Star Wars movies. And the first three. Now
you mean the 90s ones, right?
I mean,
classic
I mean the real first three, the first three that ever showed up. Prequels don't count in this list, and the other Star Wars movies are all Christmas movies. They're both Christmas movies. So we have the first Star Wars, and then we have Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. One of my all-time favorite movies ever, of any movie of any type, is Empire Strikes Back. So I have to choose Empire Strikes Back because it had virtually everything you could ever want in a movie. And I mean, I don't even have to go into this movie. Everybody's seen this movie. Everybody knows how great this movie is. But I had the benefit of not having the internet back then. So to find out that Darth Vader was Luke's father was a freaking huge surprise to everybody. It was a twist nobody knew was coming, and it couldn't get spoiled because there was no internet to spoil it for you. Now, the downside was you had to wait 3 years between Star Wars movies, and I had to wait, I almost feel like it was almost 4 years for Return of the Jedi. But I think it was 3 years. But the point is, that was the greatest ending for a movie for me that never got spoiled because there was no internet, and it was just shockingly, awesomely amazing that it was. And you didn't know Luke and Leia were brother and sister yet, so they kissed at the end of that.
Yes. Why would you ruin that?
Sorry.
Spoilers. There's gonna be one. There's going to be one. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's upset with me?
Yeah. There always is, man.
Yeah. So Empire Strikes Back, huge, great movie that I love. It's right up there with me with Casablanca, Annie Hall, and West Side Story is my favorite movies. Empire Strikes Back, and then of course Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, Empire. I mean, Empire is the best of them, and people don't remember. Empire ends on a bit of a downer. It is not they are in dire straits at the end of the movie. And originally, Han was supposed to die in that film. Harrison Ford wanted him dead in that film.
Wow, really? What is with Harrison Ford? Why does he want out of that role so badly that he keeps on insisting on dying?
Well, I mean, he died in The Force Awakens, but yeah, he originally wanted out. He wanted to die in Empire Strikes Back. Like he felt that was a good thing. And also, if you notice, Harrison Ford, terrible father in his films. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, he's a horrible absentee father.
Good point.
I'm just noticing that. I'm like, wow, he was a shitty dad for a lot of these films.
Yeah, I wonder what he's like in real life. Yeah, there was that other movie where he got shot in the head and changed his life. What was that movie that Harrison Ford was in? He was like a high finance guy. He was married, and then he got shot in the head and became a nice guy.
I don't remember.
It was a really good movie. It was like Becoming Arthur or something. What the chat should know it. But he was a terrible father in that movie too. Regarding Henry, exactly. Thank you, Philip Evans. Regarding Henry, yeah. I like that movie, but yeah, he was a bad dad in that movie too.
Yeah, just a string of horrible moments where he's a terrible father. I of all the films, I guess if I had to rank them, I would rank them. And God, I know there's going to be somebody in the chat that's going to get mad at me for saying.
Wait, what are you ranking?
I'm ranking the Star Wars films.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not going to rank the prequels because they're all horrible.
They didn't happen.
They're terrible.
They didn't happen. As far as I'm concerned, they don't exist.
Empire first. And this is the one that I'm sure that's gonna get somebody in the chat that's like, "Oh, how could you enjoy that movie, you little loser?" I can't believe. Yeah, okay. I actually think Force Awakens is the second best. I loved Force Awakens, and then followed by, of course, A New Hope, followed by Last Jedi. Last Jedi is my second one. I always get those two mixed up. So Empire, Last Jedi, A New Hope, Force Awakens, and then
What about
Return of the
Rogue
Jedi.
One?
Oh, I forgot Rogue One.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
I really dug Rogue One. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it, but I really, yeah.
That's stupid. Those people are stupid.
I dug Rogue One.
I did too. I loved it.
Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. All right, so Empire, The Last Jedi, let me think, A New Hope, Rogue One, Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
That's how I would do it, just off the top of my head. I think I got all of them.
Well, I think you're totally entitled to your opinion. And
Yes.
I'm not saying that sarcastically either, for once. You are entitled to that. And the only thing I disagree with, I'd go Empire. I liked Force Awakens better than Last Jedi, and I loved Last Jedi, but I would say I think Rogue One was my second favorite one. Then comes Force Awakens, then comes Last Jedi. But of course, then where do I put New Hope? I hate that it's called New Hope. It should just be Star Wars 1. Whatever. Okay, so that was my third pick. What's your third pick?
Okay. My third pick. Oh, let me get my list here. Okay, if you were a kid, at some point you must have seen this movie. This is a classic. I'm talking about The Sandlot.
That was a blockbuster?
No, it doesn't have to be a blockbuster.
Oh.
It's a summer movie.
Okay, you're doing summer movies. You're killing me, Smalls.
The Sandlot is just one of those films that's a classic. It's all about growing up, spending time with your friends during the summer, getting into adventures, playing baseball, which is a huge part of The Sandlot. And I know you're a big baseball fan, so I'm assuming
I love that movie.
Yeah, I'm assuming you enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what the time frame is. Is it the 60s, the 70s?
Gosh, I haven't seen it in so long, and I don't remember. I just remember the famous line, "You're killing me, Smalls."
Yeah, so The Sandlot is definitely up there. I watch that movie at least once a year around this time, and I never get tired of it. And as a kid, I wanted those shoes that he's got in the movie.
Okay, now I want to see it again. I haven't seen it in a long time. I want to see it again,
Especially
now that it's baseball season.
It's a fantastic, funny film, and it's just about the coming of age, spending time with your friends in the summer, and just getting into all kinds of hijinks.
Hijinks. My fourth one will be what I consider. This is just me personally. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time, and that would be The Dark Knight.
Ooh.
The Dark Knight. I love that movie. I loved everything about that movie. I mean, Heath Ledger's performance is awesome, but I think Christian Bale's performance is awesome. I love Commissioner Gordon in that movie. I loved how dark it really was. It was really dark.
It's a crime film.
It's what?
It's a crime film.
Yeah, it really is. I love the birth of Two-Face in that movie. The weakest part, of course, in those Batman movies is the girlfriends. Not a huge Maggie Gyllenhaal fan, but she's serviceable in the role. But gosh, I love that movie, Dark Knight. To me, that was just, I get goosebumps just thinking about Batman done right. So that's my fourth choice.
My thing is with that film, I love that film. Like it's fantastic. I just always feel that it's more of we've talked about this. I've always thought it was more of a crime film rather than a Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than a superhero film, it just so happens that Batman's in it. But I've mentioned this before, but I've talked to Tyler Blunt about this, Blout, and we came to the same thing where we're like, yeah, it's more of a crime film, and Batman Begins is more of the superhero film.
Right. I love Batman Begins, and I love The Dark Knight Rises, but for some reason, Dark Knight is, I don't know, just hit all the right notes for me.
I could watch The Dark Knight. In fact, I watched it probably like a month ago because the 4K came out, and I started watching Rises the other night, and I had to go to bed, so I didn't finish it. I'll probably end up finishing it tonight, to be honest. I've seen The Dark Knight so many times I've lost count. Dark Knight Rises, I've probably since it came out on home video, I've only seen it maybe 2-3 times. So it's one of those films that I've been meaning to kind of go back and revisit it and see if I liked it more than I did the first time.
I love that Matt Miranda has Adam West above Val Kilmer in his ranking of Batman.
That is great.
That is great.
So if you, he's not wrong. Okay, let's do this. All right, you want to rank Batman? Okay.
Well, he's got Conroy from the animated series as the first best Batman.
Oh yeah, there's no other. Kevin Conroy for me is number 1. Bale comes in at number 2, followed by who else?
Where's Keaton? Where is he?
Keaton is number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then 4, I would actually put. God damn it! It's like comparing shit. It's horrible. You have Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Well, yeah, I agree that Clooney was the worst because that was just a horrible script. He didn't give anything. He didn't get anything. He's actually a good actor, and he didn't get anything to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Yeah.
And that was George Clooney during the ER days when he had that head shaking thing.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Absolutely. He did. He did have that head shaking thing. And that is a great observation.
It's like a director finally went and just stop. Just stop. Stop moving your head. Like they held his head together. People don't remember this, but George Clooney, he had a thing where he was like always shaking his head back when he was doing movies when he first started out.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and then Clarknado brings up Ben Affleck. We forget that he's Batman. Well, I definitely rank him above Kilmer and Clooney.
What about Affleck? I forgot about him.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Affleck. I think he's better than Kilmer and Clooney. I agree. Adam West. I was an age, I was 7 when that thing first came out back in 1966, and now it's referred to as Batman 66. But right. I took that dead seriously as a kid. I mean, that show to me was realistic and amazing, and it was Batman, and I couldn't get enough of it. It was on twice a week. It always ended on a cliffhanger. I was totally enamored with it. I loved it. And then when I was 13, it came back on in reruns in the afternoon. And I remember rushing home. My dad picked me up from the golf course, rushing home so I could see the very first episode and relive my childhood. And that was probably one of the biggest disappointments of my life. I had no idea it was campy and a joke and everything else. I thought it was serious. And then I was so disappointed as a 13-year-old. I'm like, what the heck is this? I'll have a large fresh orange juice, please. And he's doing the Batusi. And now I get it for what it is. And then you can see Cesar Romero's mustache under the makeup. And, oh, man, I was so disappointed. Now I get it. But, boy, I was a disappointed 13-year-old. just the beginning of many disappointments in my teenage years.
I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna tick off a few people. I actually think Affleck was a better Batman, without minus the killing shit, over Keaton.
Interesting. I think he's a good Batman. I like him as Batman.
I think he's a good Batman. I think he's a good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
My thing is, I went back probably like a year ago and watched the Michael Keaton Batman stuff, and I was sitting there going, I don't think this holds up that well. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, and I'm being a cynical asshole. But I personally don't think those films hold up that well. And if you read some of the original stuff that Tim Burton wanted to do, because Tim Burton had never read a Batman comic before doing that film. He originally wanted Michael Keaton to be hanging upside down when he sleeps, like if he's an actual bat, and just like a whole bunch of other weird shit. But yeah, I would put Ben Affleck above Michael Keaton.
That Batman movie was a huge summer hit with Michael Keaton, and I clearly remember the controversy. This was before the internet, so it was really the comic buyer's guide and whatever else. I think it was before Wizard magazine even existed. So it was the comics buyer's guide that you had to read about it, and everybody was just flipped out that Michael Keaton was going to be Batman. But I thought he was a good Bruce Wayne. I thought he was a good Batman, and of course I loved that Batman movie. But the summer was I just read your comment.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to hold a whiteboard up with it.
Luis is talking about movies that happen in the summer. The theme is summer. Summer in his movies. And I'm talking about summer blockbusters. So what is your fourth summer-themed movie? Theme from a summer... Is it a summer place? Theme from a summer place. This is the theme for a summer place.
Is it my turn or your turn?
Your turn. What's your fourth pick?
Hold on. My fourth pick is... Oh, damn it, I lost my list. There it is. A Goofy movie. Hey. As a kid, I loved a Goofy movie. Come on. If you're a kid that you grew up in the 90s, a Goofy movie was one of those films that you absolutely loved.
I remember seeing that with my daughter.
I loved a Goofy movie. That's all I gotta say. I haven't seen it in years.
And now I'm going to read from the admins in the Omnibus Comic Swap, Omnibus Collectors, whatever the name of the pages that we're members of. Let's see. Sherlock Alexi, his top 5 are Empire Strikes Back, Avengers from 2012, Mad Max Fury Road, Red Cliff, which is a Hong Kong movie, and he says it's kind of a gray area, but he said it was big, and The Matrix. So that's his 5. Now here's 5 from Matthew Sibley, who is a young film student in England. He has Raiders of the Lost Ark, Heat, Alien, Age of Ultron, and Miami Vice.
Miami Vice?
I know.
Wait,
I knew that was going to get that reaction out of you. That's why I saved it for last, because he lists it first.
Is this the Colin Farrell mullet Miami Vice?
I believe so. He really loved that movie.
It's not terrible, but it's one of Michael Mann's weaker films.
Let's see. And Ryan Sace, the famous English bastard, has Dark Knight, Terminator 2, First Indiana Jones, and a good choice, Inception.
Ooh.
Great movie. And he also chooses Heat.
Oh, come on. You can't go wrong with Heat. That was Michael Mann at his most Michael Van. It was such a good movie.
And let's see.
Not to mention that speech with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in the diner.
Right.
Really? Fucking Heat? Really? I mean, no, not Miami Vice. Really?
No, Miami Vice is the one you're.
Yeah, really, Miami Vice. Okay.
And we have Fangirl, who chooses Dark Knight, Infinity War. I believe she's seen it 4 or 5 times already. Here's a good movie that people are forgetting about: Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows 2. Those last 2 Harry Potter movies were real movies, real grown-up movies. I agree. That's a good choice. I love those last 2 like crazy. She also chooses Inception and Wonder Woman, which was a great movie.
It was. We can move on. I'm not
let's see.
I'm gonna be the bigger man and just walk away from it.
Riley is choosing Jaws,
Mm-hmm.
Lion King, Back to the Future. There's a good one. E.T. I disallowed because that's a December movie. So he put in Jurassic Park.
And E.T. takes place in December, right? It's been so long.
Gosh, I don't remember either. So those are the mods choices.
Some people saying Ferris Bueller.
That was a summer movie? I don't remember that.
I think Ferris Bueller is a summer movie. How dare Riley not choose Space Jam?
Actually, Space Jam did get discussed in the chat, and he had an explanation for why it wasn't on there. Let me see what his explanation was, because that is his favorite movie. Not Space Jam because it's more of an artistic indie flick than a blockbuster. So there's his explanation. Artistic indie flick for Space Jam.
Okay.
That's our fearless leader, the Omnibus Collector.
Hey, you know what? He's the fearless leader. That's great. No Space Jam, not Riley's list. Ferris came out on June. Ferris does count. Came out July 11th, Jess.
Okay.
Does count.
I don't. Okay. It's a classic movie. I'm not disagreeing.
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
We talked about this a few days ago.
Yeah, we did. You haven't seen 16 Candles either, right?
No, I haven't. Does it have 16 candles inside of it?
It is a great movie. I love 16 Candles. I still love 16 Candles.
May the Schwartz be with you. No
oh, yeah, that's from Spaceballs. Let's see. So that takes us to the 5th pick. And now I have to make a decision because I have written down all Avengers movies. I tried to cheat and just say all of them. I am going to choose Age of Ultron because I forgot Vision was going to be in that movie. And it took me completely by surprise. I literally almost jumped out of my seat. I was with my movie buddy at the time, and I just went, Vision! And for that moment alone, Age of Ultron, I just loved the heck out of. That was such a key moment in movies for me because I forgot all about it, and I love Vision as a character, and that's my 5th pick. I'll pick that, even though I loved this most recent Avengers movie. And I worship the first one because I never thought they could pull off having all those superheroes in a movie. But I'm going to pick Age of Ultron.
Good choice. Age of Ultron is a good choice. I was not the crazy fan of Age of Ultron, but in hindsight, looking back on it now, because of Infinity War, it actually makes it a stronger film. I liked it. I overall enjoyed Age of Ultron. And You can't go wrong with the first Avengers film because you will always remember that iconic scene where they're all standing in a circle and the camera's spinning around them, and it's like, wow, this is really happening. Like we never thought we would see this happen as long as I lived. So
right, exactly right.
People really underestimate how important that film was at the time.
Yeah, totally agree. There's a good question here, though. We need to pick a movie Luis hasn't watched and review it the following week. Start with Old Boy or There Will Be Blood. the original Old Boy. You know, I haven't seen that either. That'd be something good for us to do, is for us to both watch Old Boy and review it the next week.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah, I'll watch the original Korean version.
Yeah.
I'll do that. It's on Netflix right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Okay, so my number 5. My last choice is Mr. Big Willie himself, Independence Day.
Ah.
You can't. How many times have we seen the White House blow up? Like in the past few years, who's the director of Independence Day? I always forget. Is it I'm
not good with directors like you guys are. I don't remember them.
Oh, who was the director of Independence Day? The director ends up blowing the White House like in 4 other films. Independence Day.
That was the first one to blow up the White House, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Roland Emmerich. I think he's got like a fetish for blowing up the White House because he does it like in every other movie that he does. But Independence Day is classic, just popcorn fun. It's not really a good movie, but it's still just a shit ton of fun. And the fact is that we stop an alien invasion with a virus on a floppy disk. So take that, alien invaders, suck it.
With an operating system that is only on about 10% of the computers on the planet.
That's true. That's very true.
A Mac.
At the time, yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Not only that, but Bill Pullman delivers the greatest speech in any film that there has ever been spoken. It's such a great over-the-top speech, and he sells the absolute hell out of that speech. He gives it his all. He goes in like if he's really the damn president and we are about to fight an alien invasion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good choice. That is a pure popcorn movie. You're exactly right in describing it that way. It was just an excuse to blow things up and great special effects. And I should see that. You know, maybe this July 4th, I will celebrate Riley's birthday by watching Independence Day.
I will celebrate it by watching Independence Day and Space Jam.
And Space Jam.
But I loved Independence Day. I can watch that again. And you know, when that first came out, it was really an impressive spectacle in terms of special effects. Like there was a scene where Will Smith first comes out on his lawn and you see the alien ship in the background and you're like, oh shit. And they really sold it at the time. It was really impressive.
Yeah. What was that movie in oh shoot, space? Now I'm going off on a tangent about alien movies. What was that one in South Africa? Section 9 or
District 9.
District 9. God, that was a good movie.
I love District 9.
Yeah, I love District 9.
It's one of those films that I wish the director went on to do other things that were just as good. Unfortunately, he hasn't. But District 9 is fantastic. I love that film.
I love District 9. I have some runners up.
What you got?
I have the James Cameron movie Aliens.
Oh,
that was a good movie.
I think it's better than the first one.
I agree with that. Mad Max Fury Road. I loved that movie.
Fantastic film.
Terminator 2.
That's
a blockbuster.
Better than the first one.
Right. I agree with that too. Here's the one that doesn't get... He may be a shitty dad in this movie too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But The Fugitive. The Fugitive was a great movie that I loved that was considered a blockbuster. It was a big flick when it first came out. And I remember leaving that movie just soaked. Like my back was sweaty, armpits sweaty, my shirt was soaked. It was so thrilling. It was just amazing. Trying to think if he was a bad dad in that movie too. I don't remember that we saw him be a dad very much. We saw him be a fugitive an awful lot. And of course, there's a great Simpsons episode where Bart frames Milhouse as being a fugitive. And Milhouse, I think, appears on a milk carton because he's disappeared and Tommy Lee Jones is hunting him down.
Oh man! And the thing about The Fugitive is it also has that iconic waterfall scene where Harrison Ford is standing right at the edge of the waterfall, and I think he says, "I didn't kill my wife," and then Tommy Lee Jones says, "I don't care."
Right.
It's one of the great moments, and then you just see Harrison Ford jump.
Right.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. And Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, that was mentioned by Riley.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite Marvel movies was Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I love that.
Oh, that's great.
I loved that one.
Yes. Guardians 1 I enjoyed more than 2.
Right, me too. And that's a movie that even my wife and daughter liked. We watched that. My wife likes Spider-Man movies, so she saw the Tobey Maguire first 2 with me, and I believe those were summer blockbusters. And she saw Spider-Man Homecoming with me, which I believe was a summer blockbuster also. That's just neither here nor there. That's just trivia for those of you out there, that my wife will go to a superhero movie with me if it's got Spider-Man in it.
It has to have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, she likes Spider-Man.
I mean, that's good. You've found kind of the niche where you guys can both go and watch the movie together and enjoy it. Has she always been a big Spider-Man fan?
Just the movies, just the Spider-Man movies. For some reason, she digs Spider-Man.
Have you ever tried to get her into like reading the comics?
Oh no. No. That's we had a date, not this January, but last January of 2017, where we went away on a romantic weekend, and we said, let's do this. Let's have each one of us, and I'm blanking. Have each one of us try the other's hobbies. We were in a romantic place. There was a fire there. Her hobby at the time, and she still likes doing it, is coloring in these really fancy schmancy coloring books with about 1,000 pencils, and it's very intricate, and you turn out a really good, a really nice piece of art. And I'm trying to think of what comic book I had her read. It wasn't the Sandman. Shoot, it had to, and I didn't give her something like The Watchmen. I gave her something really entry level, and I can't think of what it was, but she wasn't into it at all. She didn't even finish the comic, but she tried. She tried, but she didn't finish it. I can't think of what the good entry level comic book would have been.
It was Preacher.
Preacher. I'm looking at my shelf and I can't think. It wasn't a thick graphic novel. It was a, gosh darn it, I'd love to remember what it was. I'll have to ask her, but she probably doesn't even know because she didn't make it through it. And it was not Ennis Punisher or anything, or Ennis anything.
It wasn't Cross, I'll tell you that much.
No, it wasn't Cross. God, she wouldn't let me collect comic books anymore if she ever. That's in my box marked Omar. Call Omar. Crossed, and all my boob books are in that box. Call Omar with his phone number on it.
It was Nightfall. Nick with the win.
Nightfall. Yeah, that's what I had to read.
Oh, that's horrible.
I wonder what book I picked.
Jess, you're better than that. You would never let your wife read Nightfall.
No, it may have been Saga.
Saga's a good choice.
I feel like it might have been Saga.
Maybe she would enjoy something like Fables.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I bet so. Yeah, and my daughter might like Fables too.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time pushing comics on either one of them. They really just aren't not into it, and I
Yeah,
just can't push it on her.
right. And we kind of get this question a lot. It's like, hey, how can I get my significant other to read comics and stuff? And my best advice to them is just don't push it on them too much. Because if you push something on people too much, they're never going to try it because they're going to get sick and tired of you pushing it. So best bet is, every once in a while, hey, check this out. I think you would enjoy this, and then just leave it at that. And if they want to, they want to. If not,
Yeah. Yeah, I had a bunch of books that I was reviewing back when I first started my channel, and I can't think of the name of the book now. But my therapist actually wanted to read it, and she doesn't read comics at all. And my therapist wanted to read it, and I said, "Okay, good. This book was recommended, and I hadn't read it yet. I can't think of what it was called. John P., if he was in the chat, he'd remember because I told him about it. And so she read it, and we were going to discuss it, and I read it, and it was terrible. It got all this publicity of what a great graphic novel it was. This was last year. I can't think of what the name of this one was either. I'm not doing well tonight, but it was terrible, and I decided I'm not going to bring it up. I'm going to let her forget about it, and we haven't discussed it since because I didn't want her to think that was the kind of thing I was reading. It was really self-indulgent and boring and depressing. It was like a graphic novel by some novelist that was famous, and I was like, oh.
Who you're thinking about? Say his name.
What's that now?
Say it,
Jimmy Corrigan. No, it wasn't Jimmy Corrigan. It wasn't Chris Ware. It was a female author, and I can't think of what her name was. It was Kristen something, a female author, Kristen something, and it was called something like The Places in Between or something like that, and it sounded good to her, but
The Place Between the Pines? Is that?
No, that's not it. It's still up on my nightstand for me to someday talk to her about it, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to bring it up. I want her to forget all about it. Hench Girl. No, it wasn't Hench Girl.
Oh man.
Although I heard Hench Girl's good. I haven't read it, but I've heard Hench Girl's good.
I've heard good things. By the way, we finished the list, didn't we? We just finished.
Okay. I just talked about some of my backups that I liked. I want to see Fury Road in. It's got a special edition where it's sort of not black and white, but kind of an enhanced black and white. That's supposed to be
Chrome edition.
Exactly, the Chrome edition. Yeah,
it looks good. It looks really good. They take out all the sound of like the voices. So it's kind of more of a silent film. It's more of the music is it's black and white, and the music is what's playing it. Because originally,
there's no voices.
There's no sound. It's edited out.
Oh, what's the theory behind that?
Originally, George Miller wanted to do Fury Road as a black and white film without any sound.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So this version is the sound is cut out and it's in black and white.
And is it enjoyable?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing, but from what I saw, it's really good. It's in black and white. The sound is cut out, but the orchestral music is there. So the soundtrack is there.
Yeah. I think that's the movie where I fell in love with Charlize Theron.
It's such a good movie.
That and Atomic Blonde. I mean, she really shows off some action chops in those two movies.
I still haven't seen Atomic Blonde.
Oh, it's so good. I loved it. It starts off, boom, her kicking ass just all the way through the movie.
So this past weekend, I actually attended a convention here in Orlando.
Oh, you went to MegaCon?
I did.
All 4 days?
3 days. By the fourth day on Sunday, we were like, yeah, we kind of seen everything, so I didn't bother with it. I started noticing again, especially this year, less and less comic vendors.
Oh, really? What did you see more of?
Celebrities, just anime, a shit ton of plushies. People selling like the stuffed animals like crazy.
Really? Stuffed
yeah.
animals?
Yeah, that was the vast majority of what I saw. A lot of plushies, a lot of. I mean, there were still vendors there, but I remember when I first went to MegaCon, about 10 years ago, like there were vendors that were selling comics everywhere. And now you've got your little spots here and there, and you've got your shops where they're selling individual issues and things like that. But for the most part, it was kind of jarring for me because I'm like, wow, there's not that many comic book vendors here.
I know that at AwesomeCon, there's a big section of comic sellers, but there was a lot of attention paid to artists and writers,
right?
Books signed, and then there was a big chunk for celebrities, but there was an awful lot of comics there too. Mm-hmm. That might be because it's put on partially by Third Eye Comics, and they're so big into comics. So one of the biggest booths at AwesomeCon was Geico.
Yeah, that caught me off guard too. There were a shit ton of booths for companies that were just paid for the space. There was a 5 Hour Energy one, there was a T-Mobile one, there was a Geico one, there was a State Farm one. I'm like, wow, they are really selling up space here. And I get it because they have to make money, and that's a way to do it. But I'm kind of just going, who the hell is going to buy a cell phone at a convention?
I don't know.
Or change their phone plan.
Or sign up for insurance.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to me because this is the first time that I saw it in such full effect. And I just kept thinking, like, I come to a convention to kind of just relax and like buy comics and buy stuff. I don't come here to go, you know what? I need to change my home and my house insurance. Or I need to get better health insurance. My stuff just isn't doing it. My car insurance is lacking. I wonder if I could get a better rate while I'm at this convention at Geico.
I know. I thought it was odd, but that was the second year in a row they've been there, and they were giving away a crap ton of stuff. Not just Geico keychains, but like comic-related stuff. So, I mean, prizes they were giving away, and they had music going, and practically like a DJ pumping out the sound and getting people to show up. It was a big deal. Khalil 313, did you read the Atomic Blonde comic? I'm looking right at it. I did buy them, but then I heard they were not that good, and so they're sitting on my shelf, and I have become that person that I hate the most. A person with books on their shelf that are just taking up space as I decide whether or not I want to read them. Everything I buy, I want to read. I don't just, I mean, it may be a blind buy, but I have every intention to read it. But now that I heard that the writer wasn't a good writer, I've been questioning it, but I really should read them because that movie sure was great. Okay. So I don't know, Khalil 313, did you read those books? And if so, what did you think of them?
Did anybody read those Mad Max comics that came out around the same time as Fury Road? I heard they were okay.
I did not.
I heard it was okay. And I can't see the chat because it's frozen. No. Come on. Come on. Technology. Where is it? There we go.
Khalil 313 says he hasn't read it yet. He's waiting for a root beer review.
For what, Atomic Blonde or
Yeah, for Atomic Blonde. Now I have to read it. He's thrown down the challenge. Damn it. Okay. I will read it. I'm right in the middle of my Hickman-a-thon.
Oh, you started.
Yeah, I started and I finished Secret Warriors over the weekend. And now
Thoughts?
I loved it.
Good. Okay.
I loved it a lot.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of I knew what was going on in the like beforehand with Dark Avengers and the forming of Midgard, Asgard, whatever they call Midgardia or whatever, the new Asgard on Earth, and Norman Osborn and everything. So I had knowledge of that going into it, which I think helped, but there's a huge explanation page to lead off. And so you learn that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been disavowed and
grass.
It's Nick Fury at his most Nick Furiest.
Oh, I love it. That recoil on.
Yeah, and I love his list too.
Yeah, Nick. There's Hickman can write Nick Fury pretty well.
Yeah,
he's got the voice down packed for him.
Yeah, Shorty Larson. Jurassic Park was a big summer movie, except I don't like dinosaurs, so I never saw it.
That's right. I forgot about that. He just hates dinosaurs. He's also allergic to fun. What kind of a kid doesn't like dinosaurs, Jess?
Never played with dinosaurs. Never thought they were interesting. Didn't care about them. Yeah, I'm an oddball, I guess. I just was not into dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's fine. Were you at least into space?
I like space. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then because as a kid, it was like you were either in dinosaurs or space.
Right. No, I'm not a dinosaur denier. It's fine that they existed. I love the Far Side cartoon that shows 3 dinosaurs and they're kind of looking askance and they're smoking cigarettes, and it says the real reason dinosaurs went out of existence. They're smoking cigarettes.
Jess is a self-hating dinosaur.
Oh, Mr. Lawyer now thinks he can just pop off since he graduated from laugh school.
Okay, yeah, right. I keep forgetting that Nick graduated from laugh school. So if ever I'm in the state of California and get in legal trouble, you're my guy.
That's right.
Did you, by any chance, get a chance to see the new Christopher Robin trailer?
I haven't, but I heard people are kind of excited about it.
So many feels.
Really?
So many emotions.
Now he was supposedly not a good father.
Christopher Robin?
A.A. Milne.
Oh, I'm like, what? I don't remember that part. Did Christopher Robin just grow up to be old and bitter?
No, I mean Christopher Robin was based on A.A. Milne's son.
Really?
And I think, yeah, I believe. I think so. And A.A. Milne was not a good father, even though he wrote about his son. And I'll tell you another guy that wasn't a good father was Hank Ketchum, the creator of Dennis the Menace.
Really?
Yeah, he and his son Dennis were estranged for Hank Ketchum's entire life.
Holy crap. Wow. Did not know that.
See, that's the stuff that's in my head that pushes out all comic book knowledge, and I forget. I forget in a week what I've read, but those dumb bits of trivia stick in my head.
He just let his kid play with stuffed animals all day. That's why he's called Dennis the Menace. Maybe he hated his kid.
Well, his wife is the one that said, "Your son Dennis is a menace," and that's when he came up with it.
It's been a long time since I've read a Dennis the Menace comic.
Oh, I used to love those comics. The comic books. I loved the comic books.
Let me tell you something. I fell down a deep hole this past weekend.
Uh-oh.
So I was looking up like classic animated cartoons, like old black and white classic cartoons, only to find out a lot of them were really racist.
I
Like,
was wondering if that's what you're gonna say.
racist. I didn't, now that I'm older, I understand it, but like there was a Popeye cartoon where it's the time period. It was the 1940s, and he was fighting Japanese people, and like they had the big buck teeth, the slanted eyes, and things like that. And I was like, wow, it's stuff today that yes, it happened during that time period, but looking back on it, you're like, oh my gosh. And some of it was actually kind of uncomfortable to watch.
I bet. I movies were racist right up through the Aristocats. The Aristocats had or maybe I'm thinking of I feel like in the Aristocats there was something racist, but I can't think. But in Lady and the Tramp, which was a 60s movies, they had the Siamese cats. And the Siamese cats were really racist. Dumbo had the black crows that were really racist.
Right. And Song of the South, which Disney does not acknowledge anymore.
Right. I can you get that bootleg somehow?
I don't know where you can get it. It's not in the vault. Disney doesn't have it on DVD or anything like that. Disney will outright refuse to admit anything from that film. They hate that film.
Yeah. Yeah, Clarknado's right. Peter Pan is pretty racially charged against Native Americans. What makes the red man red? And they're going, woo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty racist movie.
Yeah, it's just looking back on it, some of it was really uncomfortable to watch. There was one that was probably the most racist thing I've ever seen. It was like a parody on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it's just all Sambo, it's stereotypical, and it was really rough watching it. I was sitting
What
with
was
my
it
fiance.
called?
Let me see if I can find
You found it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. No, it wasn't even on YouTube. We had to look up on a Vimeo. Oh, I'll find it. Hold on. It was a Warner Brothers cartoon. Strange cinematic history. Where is it? Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm not kidding you. That's how they say it.
I thought they shelved that movie and you couldn't get it.
I found it. We were looking around. It's called Coal Black.
Yeah.
And DE for Seven, SEBBEN Dwarfs.
You watched that?
I fell down a real bad hole. I was able to find
please send me the link for that, because I was under the impression that they never released it and never acknowledged it and never wanted it to see the light of day. I didn't know you could actually watch that.
You can.
Oh, please send me the link to that. That I gotta see. That's got to be awful.
It's on Daily Motion. Here we go. I found it. It was the one thing that we were watching it, and me and my fiance, we stopped watching it because it made us really uncomfortable to watch it.
Oh, it's got to be horrible. Yeah, I was under the impression that it never got released and you couldn't possibly see it because it was so bad.
Let me make sure this is it. Yeah, I found it. I'm going to send it to you right now.
All right, thanks.
It's on Daily Motion. So YouTube doesn't have it. Daily Motion seems to be the only website that currently has it.
Oh, I want to see that. I'll watch that tonight. How long was it?
It's only like 8 minutes.
8 minutes, and you couldn't make it through?
I honestly, I just felt uncomfortable watching it. It was that bad. I was like, I'm not one that I get, I don't get offended easily or anything like that. For Christ's sake, my favorite author is Garth Ennis. But I just felt we both were watching. We're like, yeah, this is really uncomfortable.
Wow. I just can't believe that clip is out. That's amazing.
Yeah, I wonder how it got out, but it's there. Hold on. Let me pull up the YouTube. Not the YouTube. Where is... Okay, the Wikipedia. The film is an all-black parody of the Brothers Grimm fairy tale Snow White, known to its audience from the popular 1937 Walt Disney animated feature Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The stylistic portrayal of the characters is an example of dark iconography, which they're all in Sambo, which was widely accepted in American society at the time. As such, it is one of the most controversial cartoons in the classic Warner Brothers library, being one of the censored 11. The cartoon, what's the censored 11? Hold on. The cartoon has been rarely seen on television and has never been officially released on home video. But see, the thing is that while Disney will not flat out acknowledge this stuff, Warner Brothers is like, yes, we have it. Unfortunately, it's a really bad thing from our time period, from history.
Mm-hmm.
The Censored 11 is a group of Looney Tunes and Merry Medley's cartoons originally published and released by Warner Brothers that were withheld from syndication by United Arts in 1968. UA owned the distribution rights to the Associated Artists production library at the time and decided to pull these 11 cartoons from broadcast because the use of ethnic stereotypes in the cartoons, specifically black stereotypes, was deemed too offensive for contemporary audiences. The ban has been continued by UA and the successive owners of the pre-August 1948 Looney Tunes Merry Medleys. These shorts have not been officially broadcast on television since 1968 and have only been exhibited once theatrically by Warner Brothers in spring 2010. They had turned up, however, on low-cost VHS and DVD collections over the last 30 years.
Oh, now I gotta see them.
Where's the list? Here it is. The first one is called Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land. Sunday Go to Meetin' Time is number 2.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. Clean Pastures is number 3. Number 4, Uncle Tom's Bungalow.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Number 5, Jungle Jitters. That doesn't sound good. Number 6, The Isle of Pingo Pongo. Number 7, All This and Rabbit Stew. Number 8, Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs. Number 9, Tin Pan Alley Cats. Number 10, Angel Puss. And number 11, Goldilocks and the Jivin' Bears.
Oh, man.
Right.
Oh, I have got to see these.
As the 20th century came to a close, the censored 11 cartoons became more known to the public. Several animation historians popularized their existence. The publicity these films received from various animation discussion websites eventually led to an article in the New York Times. In February 2010, as part of a press release, the first annual TCM Classic Film Festival, it was announced that the Censored 11 were to receive a special screening sourced from the restored 35mm film prints. Wow.
So can we see the Censored 11? Yeah.
Official release. At the New York Comic Con in October 2010, Warner Brothers confirmed that it would be releasing the Censored 11 completely uncut on DVD through the Warner Archives program in 2011. On December 1st, 2010, animation expert Jerry Beck announced on the Shokus Internet Radio call-in talk program, Stu Show, that there were plans for a general traditional retail release and not via the Warner Archives. It will be a high-class release featuring all of the Censored 11 and other rare cartoons restored plus some bonus material. However, no further news of a DVD release has surfaced since. These will not see the light of day today. There is no way Warner Brothers would put this out today.
No.
The amount of backlash they would get from the internet and from people would be insane. That's crazy. I don't know.
Amazing.
It's, for better or worse, it was a horrible time in our history.
Yeah.
And, you know, Warner Brothers is like, yes, it happened. We acknowledge it. And this is part of our history.
Yeah, it would be hard to release something like that out of context or even in context.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could maybe teach a class at a college on it. About race relations or something, and put it in
animation.
context. But
the history of animation.
Yeah. Wow.
So wait, does Wikipedia have a few of these clips? You can watch a few of them. Is it only 25 seconds long? You can watch a few of them on the Wikipedia page.
The censored 11.
You can watch. There's 3 of them that you can watch on the Wikipedia page if you want me to send you that.
Yeah, please. I find that kind of history stuff really interesting.
I do too. Here.
I thought you were going to tell me you latched onto Coco the Clown or something. Have you ever seen Out of the Inkwell with Coco the Clown?
I have not, no.
Oh, that's a classic black and white cartoon, but now I'm wondering if it has any racism in it. I remember growing up watching Coco the Clown. I thought it was really a kind of a weird, unknown, little known, not very popular, but it was still fun. But now I want to see it and see if there's any weird racial stuff in it. It was just clowns, but they would get into all kinds of hijinks.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that was black and white.
Yeah, it's like we've talked before. Cartoons were different back then. I mean, you had the Flintstones smoking.
Yeah, that's right. You sent me that clip with ads where they were smoking. Barney and Fred.
Barney and Fred were smoking. And they were promoting cigarettes. They were like, yeah, cigarettes are great for you. They're healthy for you and stuff. But that was back then. They didn't know better.
Yeah. But Michael Curry brings up a point about Hogan's Heroes. I can't believe in '65 that Hogan's Heroes was even made.
You know, I've never seen MASH or Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, MASH is great. But Hogan's Heroes was like a funny commentary, and the Nazis were portrayed as stupid and stuff. But '65 is only 20 years after the Holocaust. How did Hogan's Heroes get made? I don't know. And it was popular. I still don't see how a group of POWs in a German POW camp, I get it that they made the Nazis look bumbling, but they were Nazis 20 years after the Holocaust.
It was still Nazis.
Yes.
The Nazis. My grandfather hated Hogan's Heroes. Huh. Hey, Tyler.
Tyler Blunt.
We're talking about racist cartoons.
Yeah, we're talking about racist cartoons.
So that was kind of like a deep hole that I fell down the other day for probably like an hour and a half, where I was shocked and I was fascinated at the same time of the history of animation. No, we haven't talked about Roseanne yet. We're not talking about Roseanne tonight. Oh, cartoons. Yes, Tyler.
Yeah, not racist comics, comedians, racist cartoons. I love that that she blamed it on her Ambien, Roseanne Barr.
Oh, I haven't even looked at that, dude. Honestly, I just stayed away from all that mess.
Oh, but there is a funny tweet that the maker of Ambien put out.
Okay.
The drug maker of Ambien responded to Roseanne Barr. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication. Ashley Koss, head of media relations, North America, Sanofi, U.S., tells CNN. I thought that was funny.
That's great. Have you ever taken Ambien?
Ambien, let's see. Have I taken Ambien? Yeah, I think I have before.
Did it make you into a racist?
Yeah, I woke up in blackface with a big old white circle around my mouth.
Yes.
No, I don't remember it making me a racist.
Yeah, I don't think that's one of the side effects listed on the bottle. God, that was a mess. They pulled their show really quick.
Wow, yeah.
It was like that afternoon. They're like, yeah, we're not showing this anymore. We're done. I can kind of imagine John Goodman just kind of sitting there reading his lines, and then he hears the news like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
There goes that gig.
That was my paycheck.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. How about 5 more minutes, Jess?
Okay. Chat. What would you like us to chat about? We're talking about racist cartoons, which is kind of interesting.
It really is. I'm going to sit down tonight and I'm going to watch some of these after I'm done here. They have me curious. The censored 11. I can't believe.
Yeah, the censored 11. You've piqued my interest.
Yeah, you can watch all this in Rabbit Stew, Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land, and Jungle Jitters on the Wikipedia page.
Luis, did you go home and sleep after finishing God of War?
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, actually, it was because of your recommendation that I ended up doing it. And holy shit, that was a great payoff.
What does he mean, did you go home and sleep?
I can't ruin it just without ruining the ending.
Oh, okay. I just started it this weekend.
Did you like it?
I'm liking it a lot, yeah.
It's good, right?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
And I asked, I feel like it's going to be a big, giant kind of sandbox thing. Cool. So I asked for, in the Gamers Corner, I asked for recommendations on really short ones so I can play it alongside God of War. Mm-hmm. And I got one recommendation that looks really good. It's called Spec Ops: The Line. And
that's an old one.
Yeah, it is. It was like for Xbox 360. Yeah. It's really good so far. And I just wanted something short that I could finish, because I know I'm going to be playing God of War for a while.
It's good. It's got a fucked up ending.
Which does?
Spec Ops.
Oh, okay.
It's got a really dark ending.
Okay, good.
It deals with a lot of PTSD and things like that haven't been portrayed in a video game since. It's really got some mature themes in there. It has no right to be as good of a story as it is, but oof, that ending.
Tyler Blunt, you're asking to be put in timeout. How dare you? That was in my top 5.
Well, Tyler and I discussed this. It's not really a Batman movie. It's not. Blunt. It's a crime.
Why you?
Who needs a timeout? Nick is quick with that timeout.
He is.
He does not hesitate with that. We need to get Nick and Matt back on the show one day.
Sure. They were good when I had them on a Monday.
That's right. You had them film for like a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago. Tyler Blunt, our friendship is over.
Oh. I mean, in his defense, the film pretty much relies on Ledger's performance.
Well, okay, that's good. It was a good performance. What are you saying? You know?
You will not hear a complaint from me about his performance. He's certainly better than Jared Leto's Cholo Joker or whatever he was doing.
I mean, fine. Take out take out Harrison Ford from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that movie falls flat. Fine. Take out the shark from Jaws. That movie falls flat. What kind of argument is that? Come on. Why, yo.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. We've gone for an hour and 40 minutes already.
All righty. Thank you, chat. It's been great tonight. You guys were awesome. We went on very good tangents that were fruitful, and I can't wait to watch some of these cartoons that I had no idea were still available. And if I don't watch cartoons, I'm going to be reading comic books collected in collected editions, and you can find those collected editions up to 50% off Where, Luis?
That would be In Stock Trades. In Stock Trades, our lovely sponsor, people. Go check them out.
That's right. You can get up to 50% off collected editions on In-Stock Trades, 2 to 3% loyalty discounts. Every quarter gets you an Omnibroslive special discount. Order $50 or more in the United States, you get free shipping. They have fabulous customer service. And little hint about next week's show on Monday, we're going to be interviewing that fabulous customer service specialist, Emily.
What?
That's right.
What?
We're going to be interviewing Emily next Monday.
When was this?
Don't you pay attention to the chat, the OmniBros chat?
You guys text a lot in that chat.
We do.
if I miss out like an hour of your conversation, suddenly I look on my phone. It's like, oh, 99 plus. Like text. I'm not going through that, Jess.
Yeah. Well, you may have missed it.
I'll give you the last 5 to 10, and that's it. I'm not looking all the way back.
Yeah, she agreed to be a guest. She's very shy, but she agreed to be a guest.
Oh, cool.
And,
awesome.
So, yeah, we'll be interviewing her next Monday. And we're pretty excited about it because she's everybody's favorite because she says she's so great at customer service. Mm-hmm. And I think she's pretty much Cameron's right-hand person. So she knows the inner workings of the secret facility known as In Stock Trades.
Yes. So you nerds behave.
Yeah, I will be watching the chat carefully.
We've got Nick and Matt. They're the bloodhounds.
Yeah, Brian McCormick says, good, I can ask Emily why my order hasn't shipped. Right.
Did you place your order an hour ago?
Yeah, right.
We've had that happen in the group.
Yeah. Okay, so Luis, where can they find you on the internet?
Oh, Comics Guide 101. You can find me on there, Facebook, Twitter. Now that the summer is here and I actually have some extra time on my hands, I should be getting back to that. I've got a few video ideas lined up, and you guys should be expecting something not this week, but next week. So it's been
awesome. And you can find me, OmniDog, and OmniDog's Vault on YouTube. And I actually took pictures today to post on Instagram. So I'll be posting those tonight. OmniDogs_Vault. And that's it, people. We love you in the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe. And also you can listen to us on iTunes as a podcast. And whatever the Android app is that lets you listen to podcasts, we're on that too.
And if you do listen to us on iTunes, please give us a review there. It helps a lot.
That's right. Reviews help us if you listen to us on podcasts. So peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you again soon.
Good night.